Good evening. Hope everybody's doing well. Well, it's a Monday. I did get a little beta testing done today. So not as much as I would have liked, but I got started late for one, and then I had some breathing issues that I ran into, and so that kind of delayed things a little bit. But anyway, I got a little testing done today, and my hope is to get on it early tomorrow and get a couple of good tests in, and then I got other things I got to get done as well. So trying to think if there's anything else. Just a lot of the typical craziness. Trying to think if there was anything in particular. There was something that I had just seen on social media just a little bit ago. I mean, the lady just posted this, and it was in a Facebook group I'm in, and I was pretty shocked when I saw it. So I wanted to kind of show you that right at the top here because I think it's kind of important. Apparently, this power company is now offering a feature, a new deal to where you can pay a loved one's electric bill. So now you can, I guess, literally just, let's say a loved one has some issues with paying their bill. I guess they're going to offer an option to where you can do that. That is certainly a very scary sign of the times. So I wanted to make sure to really kind of point that out because, again, if you're looking for signs, markers, whatever you want to call them, that would probably be one. Like I say, I know that there are a lot of people that are struggling now, and it's just getting started. That's the scary thing. See, we've had price increases here in the United States, absolutely, without a doubt. But the price increases that we've had in the United States pretty much just, for the most part, they doubled. And I know that's a big deal. But that's not the case of what's going on over across the pond. Their power bills, energy bills, are multiples of what it used to be, not just double. And I really do believe wholeheartedly that here in the United States, we are going to see those bills increase by multiples. There's everything to point to it. That's one of the things I want to discuss tonight. I also want to talk about a school shooting that happened in Russia. And if you've been around here long, you know that I don't put a whole lot of trust in anything. And one thing I don't trust is that the circus sideshow that we get to see, that is all these nations struggling and fighting and all that stuff, isn't just a play. Because there's just something about this shooting, just one of the details, and maybe I'm wrong. I definitely don't know everything when it comes to firearms, okay? Not even remotely. Not even a fraction of a remotely. But something seems a bit askew about this story. And again, I could be wrong, and if I am, please, somebody let me know because educational purposes. If I'm wrong, please, for my educational purposes, please let me know. Please let me know. we'll get to that. But then everything else is still spiraling out of control. Of course, North Korea, that situation's not getting any better. You got Seoul, of course, South Korea, that seems to be kind of dragging their feet now when it comes to helping us in conflict. Of course, you've got India that at this point looks like they're going to go a little bit more towards Russia. You've got Turkey that has always been a flip-flopper. And I have a feeling they are going to go Russia. I even firmly believe that Saudi Arabia and the UAE are all going to go Russia. Just a sneaky suspicion. There's a hell of a lot more, to be real honest. There's a hell of a lot more at this point that Russia and China can offer those countries that I just named that we can't. We can't offer a lot of the stuff to ourselves at this point because we're stuck getting it from China. So, what do? Stop being idiots, but that ain't gonna happen, so... Man. And then even amongst the idiots in our government, there's a whole lot of nonsense going on. Kind of humorous, Nancy Pelosi, I guess it was in New York somewhere or something. She was speaking at something. She was getting booed. Man, people just are not cool with what's going on in this country. And I think it's a very large amount of people. I don't think in any way, shape, or form it's a small amount of people. And we're talking about people on the left. We're talking about people, of course, on the right. We're talking about people that don't get political, never been political, but they're pissed. There's a lot of stuff going on. And I guess you got Bill Gates up there, Gil Bates. I guess you got him up there speaking something to the effect of he expects there going to be a hung election and a civil war. I think he's just angry because he didn't get to jab us all. I don't know, man. It's some pretty crazy stuff, but just keep at it. Just keep doing what you're doing, as long as you're doing good things. Keep stalking, keep prepping, keep learning. That's huge. Keep praying. All of the above. Because these things are definitely, like I've been saying, they're not getting better, and I don't expect them to get better. And I'm not saying that because I want people to be in fear. But I want to be realistic with you. And I want to be honest, of course. This don't end well. All you got to do is pick up the good book and read. It doesn't end well. But that doesn't mean that everyone has to suffer. You can be prepared and minimize the effects on you and your loved ones. That's all you can do. That's all you can ever do anyway. But it's a lot better than doing nothing. Anyway, I've got, 5 tabs open, I guess. Might be kind of a little bit of a short night. I've got to get stuff put away. I've got to get trash and recycle and all that good stuff. Oh, wait, no, not tonight. That's tomorrow. Oh, I'm a tard. Okay. Jen's like, wait. I've been bouncing back and forth between Monday and Tuesday in my head all day, so... Trying to think if there's anything else. Not that I can think of. Not that I can think of. Let me go ahead and let me have a sip of coffee. Yeah, that would be nice. Coffee, and I'm vaping strawberry milk. I had to change out my my wicks and my flavors this morning. Strawberry milk and coffee. That is the vape. Oh my goodness. Perfect combination. Pardon me. Alright, let's take you along, shall we? U.S. facing natural gas shortage. And now, remember, they're going to be shipping stuff to, they're going to be shipping it to Europe. So when the prices are higher here and or we have availability issues, remember that, people in Europe would be warm. Shale producers in the United States are struggling to meet growing domestic and international natural gas demand, according to an analysis by Reuters. The report concluded that a hotter-than-expected summer and a lack of alternative energy sources have left the nation's inventories below the seasonal average. It added that there were no signs of improvement in the level of inventories despite the rise in gas prices. The latest data show that the Permian Shale Basin, which contributes to some 12% of the U.S. total gas output, and the rig count in the Permian has been down for 2 weeks in a row. Less drilling means less associated gas to add to the national total, the news outlet reported. While American energy companies have been exporting liquefied natural gas to Europe at record rates, calls have emerged lately to reduce those supplies to make sure there is enough for the U.S. market. With the heating season around the corner in both Europe and the United States, and with a lot of people in both places using gas for heating, the price outlook for gas does not look good from a consumer's perspective, Reuters wrote. The report noted that it is unlikely U.S. gas prices will climb anywhere near European levels, but they are up by a whopping 300% from a few years ago, when gas was cheap because it was abundant. Yeah, remember? Remember when we had more gas than what we knew what to do with? Hang on. Regardless of where you stand on fracking, fracking produces a shit ton of natural gas. A lot. And I myself can't say that I'm a massively huge fan of it. But my knowledge of fracking is very limited. And I'm aware of that. And I remain aware of that. You know, you're going to have people on both sides of anything. So it really goes without saying. But I do know, regardless, us, damaging the earth is not a good thing. As long as we, when we do things to harm the earth, for one, it needs to be necessary. And for two, we need to try to keep it at a minimum. There's a whole lot of things that don't make sense to me when it comes to energy and the energy discussion. For instance, we've got dams, right? I believe we've got a few in the country. And most of the time, as long as there's water, it's a good form of producing energy, as long as you've got the water to do it. How come they don't put some type of geothermal power plants, like, say, around places like, Yellowstone? And how come they don't use the energy from the earth in order to produce electric energy where we're not destroying nothing and it's always there? How comes? How comes we can't? I don't know. We can only do the things that, I don't know, produce uranium or make the right people rich. Pretty much what it, boils down to. We either have to be able to make weapons grade materials from it, or our buddies have to make record profits every single year. One or the other. It's crazy. Shifting gears, this shooting that happened. What's that they do in Iceland? Yeah, I would have a feeling we probably do have a lot more gas than what they're saying we do. At death toll climbs in Russian school shooting. There was a school shooting in Russia. 6 adults, 11 children were killed. And I'll never be able to... Oh, the geothermal. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I don't know why they don't do that. I mean, of course, that's not going to be enough energy, for the entire nation, and you wouldn't want to do that anyway, because you don't want all your eggs in one basket like that. But, still, we've got various things around the country that we could use that are constant. They are always there. That's like the tide. They got these things that they can put at the bottom of the ocean, and the tide powers a generator that produces electricity 24/7, and it never fails. Always there. But we can't do that either for some reason. That's right. Doesn't make weapons grade materials, and the right people aren't making the money. Anywho, this city is in the Russia's Urals region of Udmurtia. The revised tally, which previously stood at 15 victims, was released by local authorities late on Monday. The attack also left more than 20 people, primarily children, injured. The rampage occurred early in the day when the suspect, identified only as a 34-year-old graduate, stormed the school. The man was sporting all-black clothing with Nazi symbols on them. Graphic footage circulating online suggests. The suspect was armed with 2 semi-automatic, less lethal pistols, illegally altered to use regular ammunition, according to Russian authorities. Full stop. What? Can anybody tell me what less lethal pistols that you could illegally or otherwise alter to use regular ammunition? That's all I want to know. I don't get this. And, because there's an and, now the image earlier that was shown, and this says here, it's not just like a stock image or anything like that, okay? It says ammunition used by the attacker at the school, and I can't say that, which bears the word hatred in Russian. So these were the magazines, right? By the way, I'm watching chat too. If anybody knows anything, let me know, because I don't know of any less than lethal gun, firearm, whatever, that you could alter and fire live rounds. I'm not saying that it's not possible. I don't really. Okay. question two. There's a lot of people that buy firearms and they go out and they take them to the range and they go and they shoot the hell out of them. And unless it's a real reputable brand and you got a good one that fires right every time, you're going to have issues. Issues from a professionally made, professionally engineered firearm, you're going to probably run into issues. It's common. So he could illegally alter this thing and it fired flawlessly? Really? Why am I saying that? How do I know? Well, look at the tally. 17 dead, and I think it was like 24 injured or something like that. Nuts. Well, okay, is that what it could be then? That's what I'm asking, because I don't know. Could it be a blank gun that somebody just ran a drill, down the barrel of it? And then, even then, and I have seen blank guns, and they don't really have barrels. They have an opening, and then the end usually has that metal cross piece across it. I've seen those. I think that's what you're talking about, a blank gun. But there's not a round barrel there. Not the ones I've seen. Oh, yeah. Maybe. I mean, I've not seen one, a fire or whatever you want to call it. I don't want to call it a firearm because it's not. A device that fires blanks. I've not seen one that you could alter that has a barrel. And again, I haven't seen a ton of them in all honesty, but I've seen a few. So yeah, I mean, maybe there is. It's not, again, I'm not a gun guy, so there's a whole lot out there I ain't seen when it comes to the firearm scene. It's like, I don't know, reminds me of Man Barbies or something. I don't know. No, I'm kidding. It's just not something I'm into. But yeah, I mean, I do find this very interesting. The other part of this that I wanted to point out that I find equally interesting, well, if not even more so, is, okay, this guy clearly had Nazi symbols and all of that, so there was really no questioning what the motivation here was. My thing is, we've had a lot of these rampages in this country that have left many of us going, what? Just because of different things about the case. Could this be another instance of, and I'm just going to say the name MK Ultra, used by Russia to instill motivation in Russians to go fight in the war? I've got to at least ask the question. Because we all know that some of the shootings that happen here in this country have an agenda behind them. And what we're told isn't anything close to what happened. This is that other article here on that. Alright, shift gears a little bit here. Hang on, got another headline there. Hang on, let me tweet this out. I'm going to go ahead and cover that too. We'll do this last, I guess. Okay, worst bond market crash in over 70 years is coming, says Bloomberg. Doesn't sound too good. Global government bonds are on course for their worst performance since 1949 as losses mount in the face of aggressive central banks, Bloomberg reported over the weekend, citing Bank of America projections. According to the report, the escalating losses reflect how far the U.S. Federal Reserve and other central banks have shifted away from the monetary policies of the COVID pandemic when they held rates near zero to keep their economies going. The reversal has hit everything from stock prices to oil as investors brace for an economic slowdown. On Friday, the UK's 5-year bonds plummeted by the most since 1992 after the government rolled out a massive tax cut plan. 2-year U.S. Treasuries are in the middle of the longest losing streak since at least 1976, falling for 12 straight days. Bottom line, all those years of central bank interest rate suppression, poof, gone. Peter Bachvar, Chief Investment Officer, Bleakley Advisory Group, told the media outlet. These bonds are trading like emerging market bonds, and the biggest financial bubble in the history of bubbles, that of sovereign banks, continues to deflate, he explained. The Fed raised its policy rate range from 3.25% on Wednesday, which is its third straight 75 basis point hike, hinting further increases beyond 4.5%. With more Fed rate hiking coming and quantitative tightening, as well as the possibly more government debt issuance down the road amid less Treasury buyers out there now, it all just means higher rates, Managing Director at Mishir Financial Glenn Capello said, adding the 10-year yield is definitely going to get closer to 4%. According to Bloomberg, in the coming week, the market may face fresh volatility from the release of inflation data and public speaking engagements by Fed officials. Also, the sale of new 2, 5, and 7-year treasuries will likely spur trading volatility in those benchmarks, it reports. So, of course, we knew it wasn't looking real swell over here. Oh, man. I gotta have a vape. But yeah, we pretty much knew we weren't in very good shape. We're not the only country, obviously. EU Central Bank warns the outlook is darkening. Europe is facing lower than expected economic growth as inflation continues to climb, European Central Bank Chief Christine Lagarde revealed on Monday, explaining that the ECB had raised interest rates by 75 basis points in an attempt to control soaring prices. Huh? What? Am I hearing an echo in here? What? Oh, wait, no, okay, so they're doing the exact same thing the United States is doing? Imagine that. Almost seems like all these nations are just, working with each other. That's why I wanted to show that. It is so obvious and in our face that these nations, the governments, the corporations, the banks, this fall that we are all experiencing is orchestrated. Plain as day. That's why I don't have a lot of hope for the future. That's why I think we need to be prepping and we need to be ready. This is clearly a controlled takedown. Not just one nation, most of the nations at the same time. Do you really think we can stop that? That's a nice thought. But I'm not much into smoking hopium. These hands are only so big. There's only so much that I have control over. I can make sure that we've got food to eat for a period of time. Try to make sure that we stay warm. I mean, that's probably my biggest concern of any. And that's just because I don't have a big 100-gallon tank of diesel sitting out there. If I had that, I wouldn't be worried about the cold. But I really do think things are going to get ugly. And I really hope people are taking preparedness serious. And if you're somewhere where the climate is cold, you really, really need to be looking into alternative heat. Please don't rely on the thing that you see go around on social media every single year. How the candles, the tea light candles, and the clay flower pot is going to save your life when you're freezing to death in the Arctic. Like I said, I think we're in for a hell of a time. Because you've got all the different corporations. You've got the food manufacturing industry, the banks, the energy industry. You've got every one of them that's sticking us right now. And they're not going to stop sticking us. I think that the true numbers, for the thingy thing in the arm, are a hell of a lot lower than what we were ever told. And I think they're pissed. I think a fair part of what it is that we're experiencing right now is revenge. But I don't think that's the only thing. I think that this was planned either way. But they wanted us to have the jabby jab as well. We'll see. As far as over across the pond, it looks like U.S. is going to deploy HIMARS to, what country now? Dang it. Latvia. I couldn't remember exactly. I couldn't remember if it was Estonia or Latvia. Anyway, the U.S. Army, Europe, and Africa Command announced on Sunday that it would be sending 2 high-mobility artillery rocket systems, along with approximately a dozen personnel to Latvia to take part in a NATO-led national readiness military exercises. The M142 HIMARS systems are set to arrive in the Baltic state on Monday to take part in the fall phase of the so-called Name.js exercises, lasting from September 5th to October 9th. The U.S.-made artillery systems will be used on September 26th and 27th in order to demonstrate the rapid deployment of long-range precision launches to NATO's eastern border. Name.js is just designed to increase readiness, lethality, modernization, and interoperability by exercising U.S. Army Europe and Africa's ability to rapidly deploy long-range precision fires capabilities in coordination with our allies and partners and integrate joint fires in a multinational environment, reads a statement on the command's website. The exercises will also reportedly involve Spain's National Advanced Surface-to-Air Missile System to provide training for anti-aircraft protection, according to Captain Matis Students, a planning officer with NATO's Air Force, who warned Latvian residents that there will be low-altitude military training flights in the eastern regions of the country during the exercises. Aside from Name.js 2022, NATO intends to carry out additional exercises in the region under the moniker Silver Arrow. The U.S.-led bloc announced that some 4,200 troops from 17 member states will be taking part in these exercises, which are meant to strengthen the unity of the land and air forces and improve their combat capabilities and readiness to deter and defend. The exercises come as tensions between Moscow and NATO continue to grow amid the ongoing Ukraine conflict after Russian President Vladimir Putin announced a partial mobilization last week, which seeks to draft some 300,000 reservists into Russian armed forces. Several Baltic states and Poland have called for an increased NATO presence on the bloc's eastern flank. Moscow, meanwhile, has warned that it will not hesitate to use any means at its disposal to protect its territorial integrity and would respond in kind if NATO decided to carry out an attack on Russia using nuclear or other weapons of mass destruction. I need coffee. I actually didn't have my noon coffee today, so I'm short a coffee session today. Alrighty, and this just came out as I was speaking a bit ago. Germany suspects targeted attack on Russian gas pipeline, says media. There's a leak in the Nord Stream. It says here, while the loss of pressure in 3 natural gas pipelines between Russia and Germany is still officially being investigated, Berlin is reportedly no longer convinced it was a coincidence and suspects a targeted attack on behalf of either Ukraine or Russia, the newspaper Tagesspiegel reported on Monday evening. Pressure in one of the Nord Stream 2 lines dropped sharply overnight, followed by the same happening to both Nord Stream 1 pipes on Monday afternoon. Denmark announced that a gas leak was spotted off the coast of Bornholm Island in the Baltic Sea and closed the area for maritime traffic, but could not confirm if this was what caused the pressure loss. According to Tagesspiegel, the German government and agencies investigating the incident can't imagine a scenario that isn't a targeted attack, according to an anonymous source familiar with their assessment. Everything speaks against a coincidence. The outlet explained that a deliberate attack on the bottom of the sea has to involve special forces, Navy divers, or a submarine. Berlin is reportedly examining 2 possible scenarios. In the first, Ukraine or Ukraine-affiliated forces could be behind the attack. The second option is that Russia did it as a false flag to make Ukraine look bad and drive the EU energy prices even higher. I doubt that. With Nord Stream offline since late August, Russian gas can only be delivered to Germany and Central Europe via the older pipelines going through Poland and Ukraine, Tegespiegel noted. We are in the process of clarifying the situation here, a spokeswoman for the Federal Ministry of Economics told the outlet. We don't currently know what caused the pressure drop. Nord Stream 1 was built in 2011. Construction on Nord Stream 2 began in 2018 and took much longer due to political pressure and economic sanctions from the U.S. Nord Stream 2 was finished and pressurized by September 2021. However, 2 days prior to Russia's military operation in Ukraine, the German government put its certification on indefinite hold and has categorically refused any suggestion from Moscow or its own people to unblock the pipeline. So, and that's part of it that just is mind-blowing to me. I get this whole thing of being worried about your energy security and national security, but they don't seem to be that nationally secure at the moment. So what's worse, not having national security and not having energy, or not having national security and having energy? If you have national security, or, if you don't have your national security because you're relying on Russian energy, then what you need to do as a nation is take those lumps and work to become energy independent. But you got to do it with plausible ways. You can't go installing 50 million solar panels and until we got the energy storage issue taken care of when it comes to electricity. We don't have that issue taken care of. We're just pissing in the wind, which brings up wind power. Maybe with piston in the wind, we can get a combination of wind power and hydro. I don't know. But I do know that right now is not the right time to jump into those types of energy. Again, there's other ways. There's other, more reliable, less harmful ways to produce energy. Why can't we do those things? How come we're limited? It's got to be gas or oil. Period. Gas or oil. That's our only options that they allow. Or nuclear, of course, But of course, you and I can't have that. We can't have our own reactor in the backyard so we can cut down on our power bill. Might have a few people showing up at your door with some questions. But, parents should have never got me the erector set. That's all I can say. No, I I don't know. The whole world's got themselves in a pickle. And the only way they're going to get out of the pickle is to throw in and throw down and fix the problems. And it's going to take a lot of hard work. It's going to have to take a lot of hard, independent work. Not only us individuals independently, but also the nations independently. United States needs to work on the United States. Europe needs to work on Europe. UK needs to work on the UK. I almost think if I could snap my fingers, and it would simply be that. It would be that if I could snap my fingers and have the world go how I wanted, it would be that the nations would work together to make sure that people were able to get by and things weren't too rough. And give each other a chance to become independent again, to become sustainable again, and then go from there. But it's extremely important that we remember that we have to keep our country first. Even if that means paying a little bit more for your cheeseburger or for your trash can or whatever. There was a reason why those items costed more when they had that Made in the USA label. Used to be two reasons. One reason, it was higher because you were paying an American worker. The other reason, well, in some cases it's just profiteering. In many cases, you pay more in the United States because of all the regulations and bull crap that a company has to go through just to operate. There's a lot of reasons. But part of it is because that employee makes more than what that child in China does. So you got to keep that in mind. I know. We're in a hell of a hole. And I don't mean just the United States. I mean pretty much every nation. And I think the corporations are leading the people off a cliff. I think it's planned. I think it's beyond planned. I think they've already got their safety net. Their safety net. They've already got that sucker spread out. They've already got the edges anchored. They've got it all set to go, tested out, ready to go. All they have to do is push us off that cliff. Right? And as we're falling, they're going to ask us, you want us to save you? Probably not quite that way, but you know what I mean. That's when you're going to get your New Deal. That's when you're going to get your CBD, CDC, ACDC stuff. You know, the digital dollar. Maybe at that point, everybody would be confused, even the LGBT, and everybody would just give up letters. I don't know. Maybe from now on, organizations can only be called noises. It's crazy. Anyway, I've got some headlines for you, as you can imagine. Figured I'd run through them and hop off of here, and I think I'm going to get off of here and get stuff put away, get things closed up, and hop in the shower. And then bed. Hopefully tomorrow I can breathe better. So that was messed up. So it sucks, man. When that feeling, there's nothing like it. It's just so weird. You can breathe, you can get air in and out, but it doesn't do any good. And it doesn't matter how hard you're breathing. It's like you're suffocating underwater. I'll be honest, it's horrific. It's horrific. And I did a couple of things today, and I'm bad about overdoing things. I'm really bad about overdoing things. I don't know stop very well. And it's no big deal what I did. I literally, both times it happened, all I did was picked up. Oh, I almost said it. All I did was I did something, and it caused me to run out of air. I can't tell you. Sorry, I almost screwed up. Anyway, I just picked something up and had to walk. I don't know. That's what I have. I have COPD. And I had to, walk at maybe I don't know, 25 feet or so. But that involved bending over and then, picking the object up. It's not super light. So, anyway, I did that, and I just did it real quick. And then it hits you afterwards. And like I say, it's kind of freaky. It is not kind of freaky. It's damn freaky. I hate it. Anyway, let me do the headlines and get the heck out of here for the evening. 1 in 6 elderly Germans at risk of poverty, says media. U.S. has plan if Russia uses nukes, says Blinken. Let's see. Russian businessman claims credit for Wagner Group. Pound crashes to an all-time low. Zelensky reveals how much U.S. pays Ukraine. Let's see. Russian methanol industry shutting down, says the media. What? Their meth industry is shutting down? Wow. Buy it from the U.S. Oil prices slump on recession fears. Senator suggests banning military-age men from leaving Russia. Poland slams scandalous EU warning. West should treat us with respect, says Putin. Russian stocks suffer worst day since start of Ukraine offensive. Pressure drops in Russian gas pipeline to the EU, says operator. Russia tells U.S. to back off its aggressive course. Putin considering talks with Kiev, says Turkish FM. Shots fired at Russian military conscription center. EU sanctions have backfired, says Orban. Oh yeah, by the way, that was another shooting at the conscription center. I read that one. EU to set aside Russian oil cap plan, says Bloomberg. Russia expels Japanese consul over spying. Snowden gets Russian citizenship. I thought that was kind of interesting. And that's just a jab is all that is, a poke in the eye. Let's see. Former Biden spokesperson makes gloomy prediction on U.S. midterms. So she actually finally answered a couple of questions and didn't just have to circle back to them. Cubans vote on gay rights. Seoul reluctant to get dragged into Taiwan conflict. Moscow street named after controversial far-right politician. Ukraine makes decision on mobilization. Crimea had comments on future of special military operation status. Let's see. Gas leak found on blocked Russian pipeline. Talked about that. A man surfs out of Russia to avoid mobilization. So yeah, if you're gonna go EWOL or AWOL, where the hell did I get EWOL? If you're gonna go AWOL, you probably might want to have a little better transportation than a surfboard. Let's see. Did I say U.S. and EU demand explanations from Serbia? I don't think I did. Pentagon woos India amid China tensions. And Germany... Oh, I read that one. Duh. Anyway, that would be the headline. I am going to get the hell out of here and do as I said. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow night, and I'll I'll see you all over again. So, hope you all have a good evening. Thank you for coming. Hope to see you tomorrow. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.